Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall-Greider. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And my guest, I know you're going to love her energy, her spirit, and her brilliance around communication. I think all of us can learn and grow and find expanded ways to connect with others. And the communication, how we show up, how we interact with others, what we hear, what we say, all those things matter so much in having effective connections and communication. And I want all of us to be able to connect powerfully and purposely with ourselves and with others. And so I'm very excited to have our guest today who's going to really help us consider some things around this and perhaps add some of those tools to our toolbox so that we can continue to grow and connect and overcome any of those communication challenges that we may have. It's wonderful to have some tools and perspective and insight around that. So I'm excited for our conversation today. I hope you are as well. And to really set the stage, help us be really present so that we do hear, we can receive. Let's take a moment and take a deep breath in through the nose, all the way to our toes, and then out. Breathe out through your mouth like through a straw. Beautiful. Take another breath in through your nose. Let that air, that oxygen support every cell in your body. Notice how good it feels to have support and even have a moment and a pause. And then breathe out. I invite you to stay breathing deeply. This is a moment and time for you. You get so busy in the doing and the list of things that we have going, and we can feel pulled a zillion directions. And I claim this time as yours. I celebrate and lean into the opportunity for us to connect deeply and receive and be focused and present. Beautiful. Take another breath and notice how you feel just becoming present, slowing down a little bit. Notice how that feels. I know I suddenly feel rested, expanded. It feels good to take a moment and not be in the rush and the flow of everything and really being able to just stop, pause, breathe, and connect. And I always share when you breathe in, you can picture all that support, love, connection coming in, and breathe out. Blowing out what no longer serves, creating room and space for more. We also notice when we pause and slow down a little bit, it actually helps us lower stress levels, our cortisol levels, become more present, and actually be able to hear and receive. And I want you to receive everything that is here for you today, because there's a reason you're tuning in and connecting. And I want you to receive, to take in all that is available to you. So as we're pausing and breathing and connecting, I invite you to put both hands on your heart and notice the beat of your heart. And then notice that pause in between the beats. And in that quiet little pause, what are you hearing today? What message is bubbling up? Reminder, encouragement, truth, perhaps something you need. What is coming up for you? Take a moment and listen to that message, that wisdom. So often we're moving so fast, we don't hear that still, quiet voice speaking to us one beat at a time. Beautiful. So take in whatever that message is that is supportive and aligned with you, that you're willing to receive because you absolutely have choice. Beautiful. So as you take that in, take another deep breath. Eyes open, fully present. Beautiful. Coming back into the room. And I invite you to take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what message bubbled up. Write that down and keep that paper and pen handy. So as we're talking today and things bubble up within you or are sparked by something that we share or a shift in perspective or insight or something you want to follow up on, have that notepad ready so you can capture that information in real time. And when you start to write it down, you're actually bringing it forward. It's not just swirling around in you, but you're actually bringing it forward into reality. And we'll give you time throughout our show where you can pause and integrate. So it's not just something that happens on your to-do list, that someday maybe I'll get to a list, but really something you're able to start to incorporate, to start to bring into your life and into your spirit, into your daily living. So be listening for those things, write those things down. And as we're back into the room, I'm going to invite Dr. Amy to take a moment and just share when she stopped, paused, and listened, what was laid on her heart. So Dr. Amy, I'd love for you to share.
Thank you, Rebecca. What came to mind was actually something that is in my book. You can't genuinely care for others unless you first cared for yourself. This is what you did. You started us off with self-love and self-care. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you for sharing, and I appreciate that. I'm so glad. It's so important that we remember to connect, to support ourselves, to receive that. And I think so often we're so good at supporting others and being responsible, the way we define that and taking care of all those things, but we can sometimes forget to include ourselves in the center of that so that we can be and do all the things we want to be. So thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And listeners, we are getting ready to go to our first break. And as we do so, I want you to think about what Dr. Amy shared, what is on your heart and spirit. Keep listening, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at Facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall-Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome, everyone. Coming back in from that break. I hope that you enjoyed that time. I always find when I take a moment to pause and be still, there's so much that comes forward. So I always like to just welcome you back as we connect back into the conversation. And I wanted to take a moment to introduce Dr. Amy, our amazing guest. She shared a little bit from her heart in our opening segment, and I wanted to just give you a snapshot of her background. You can definitely go on our site or to her website, and we'll share all that contact information later to learn a little bit more about her, which I encourage you to do. But I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot here. So Dr. Amy has a PhD in adult education and 30 years experience in training, consulting, and strategic guidance, helping organizations shift cultural intelligence. As the CEO of Empowering Partners, LLC, she has helped over 400 C-suite leaders and management teams effectively increase their ability to lead, retain, and engage people who have different perspectives and backgrounds. She is passionate about helping you navigate cross-cultural conversations and really have that positive impact you're looking to have. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and gifted Dr. Amy Narishkin. Welcome.
Whoa, that's quite an introduction. I love your joy and enthusiasm. Thank you, Rebecca.
You are welcome. I'm very excited to have you joining us today. And I wanted to start our conversation with why. Why is this work about communication and cultural intelligence and helping leaders in these areas? Why is that work personally so important to you?
Thank you for that question. In a chaotic world, in a world and a society where we're experiencing significant polarization, and there's some bullying going on in society, both individually and collectively. I just want so much for people to feel seen and valued and heard. And every encounter is an opportunity to make that happen. So often we think culture is something way too big, way bigger than us, nothing we can impact or influence. And yet a cohesive culture is created one conversation at a time. So how do you have those kinds of conversations where people feel valued? That's the skill set and the heart set, the mindset that I get to teach.
Beautiful. I feel your heart and your passion in your sharing around this. And I love the perspective because I sometimes think we make this a bigger, harder, more complicated thing instead of really focusing in on what it's about. And it's about being seen, valued, heard, and that every conversation, I love this, that we have that opportunity to do that for ourselves and for others. And that is the power of communication and really being able to connect in that way. And all those things that we're seeing out there, the polarization, the bullying, so much of that could be addressed and shifted by learning how to do this for ourselves and others. So I just honor you. I celebrate your brilliance in this and the work that you do to really help people one conversation, one encounter at a time. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So one of the things that we like to focus on is really empowering women. And this is an area I think that sometimes can be difficult. It can be hard for us to speak up sometimes, to find our voice, to be heard. Why do you think that is? What can make it hard for us as women to do that? And is there a way we can start to shift that a little bit for ourselves?
Absolutely. That's not a problem. And one of the things that we get to recognize, it's not a character defect. This is actually a cultural default to bury our voices. So something that can be helpful to know that 70% of voices that we hear in popular media, by that I mean gaming, movies, books, 70% are male voices, predominantly white, around the world. It's not just an American thing. This is a global thing. And evidence of that is parents and teachers, and I'm both. I'm a parent and I'm a teacher. I've got 4 adult children, 3 of which are women. Parents and teachers interrupt their girls twice as much as their boys. So we're complicit. And when you know that, you can start upending it. The thing is, with male voices being normalized, there's this fundamental bias that women are inherently less worth listening to than men. And the toll on women that it takes is self-criticism, self-loathing, and self-denial. So that to the point of that even a woman opens her mouth, it can be too much for him or her. That can be the assumption. So the impact is that we silence our own voices and we allow people to do that to us. And it's heartbreaking. But sometimes what really helps is, like Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you can do better. Mm-hmm. When you know that that's in play in our culture, then you can start upending that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that, because I think we don't realize that that's reality. That's what's happening out there, and that it's a global situation. So my curiosity, as we are taking that in, because that's a huge shift in perspective for many of us, as we take that in and we feel a spark to shift that, to change that, what are some of the first steps or ways we can do that? So I think awareness is key, and we're sharing that. How can we start to shift that dynamic in how we're choosing to then show up, how we can do better?
Would this be a good time, an okay time with you, Rebecca, if I share a story? It'll take me just a couple of minutes, but it would provide an example of how you can share your voice in a way so that you can create a win-win.
I love it. Yes, please.
All right. So how do you find your voice was the question that Jessica was grappling with in her executive coaching session with me. Mm-hmm. And Jessica is the vice president of a mid-size engineering firm in the San Francisco Bay Area. And she said, I just don't know how to respond when someone says, you just hired her because she's a woman. Mm. Jessica said, it drives me ballistic because I interviewed 2 men and 2 women for this project manager position. And I said to her, I get it. That's tough. By any chance, did this person sound accusatory? And she said, oh my God, he did. Totally. And she said, I didn't know whether to drop into silence and suggest that I agree or defend my position and potentially alienate the guy. And I said, yeah, that is a conundrum. And I pointed out, there's a third way. And Jessica said, how so? And I said, well, you've already mentioned the first 2 reactions, silence or violence, and what's called the third way. And silence is, as you know, is withdrawing, avoiding, masking the pain. And violence is attacking, controlling, labeling a person. And both silence and violence track back to the oldest part of our brain. And so we're well practiced at reacting with either of those. But it makes for kind of an either or mentality, an in or out, an us versus them. This third way is a contemplative approach, a lot like how you started off this whole conversation, helping us connect inside. It's when you slow down and take a moment, a minute, or an hour, whatever it takes to get your feet back under you, to get some perspective, and to bump into some compassion. Compassion for you because you've been zinged, right? Mm-hmm. And potentially compassion for them because hurting people hurt. And Jessica said to me, what does that sound like? And I said, sounds a whole lot like what you've already said, that, and then I just stopped and I said, you do appreciate more women in construction. She said, I do. And I said, so then he was actually right. And she goes, yeah. And I said, and you've done your due diligence. And she goes, yes, I have. And I said, then that can be a way that you respond from this quieter moment that you've taken. You can say, you're right. I do appreciate more women in the industry. We need more humanity in construction. And, I've interviewed a number of people, both men and women, for this project manager position. And I'm happy to fill you in on her background credentials. Just let me know what you need. And I said to Jessica, how does that land on you? And she said, that's awesome. I hadn't realized. And then she was quiet. She goes, that's like a win-win. And I said, yes, that's the tell. You can tell cultural intelligence is in play when both of you walk away from the conversation feeling valued, seen, and heard. So, Rebecca, that's an example of when you're talking with somebody, the 3 steps: slow down, take a breath, take that moment for you. And the second thing you're going to do is listen to understand not only your perspective, but the other perspective. And then the third step is appreciate in your response both them and you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, because I do think we tend to have those well-oiled responses.
Yes.
Well-worn paths.
Yes.
And to instead allow ourselves to build another way forward and to really pause and honor the truth and our truth in that and in our sharing and connecting. Thank you for that example and that story.
You're welcome.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I'm curious, why is it important for us to build these types of responses into our daily walk when we're looking to connect, we're looking to have conversations? Why is it important that we continue to look for a culturally intelligent response where there's a win-win and a really listening? And I like that you said take a minute, take an hour, like we can give ourselves time. I think so often, and I know I have felt times where I just have to say something or respond, or I've missed the moment. What are your thoughts around that?
Oh, it's a really good point, Rebecca, because you can always circle back, whether it's 24 minutes or 24 hours or 24 years, there's always an opportunity to create connection and to heal. So there's never any rush. In fact, if somebody comes in hot, whether it's into your office or in an email or into the kitchen, there's always an opportunity to take a breath and just stand down until you can get your feet under you. And there's always an opportunity to say, you know what? I hear you. It sounds like it's really important. And I'll be with you in 10 minutes. Obviously, if there's an emergency and you call 911, please do. But if
yes, of course.
But if you need a moment, I just tell people you really can't care for other people genuinely unless you first cared for yourself. And if you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, it's called halt. That's not the time to engage with somebody. You've got to be feeling pretty okay with yourself if you're going to enter into a conversation and create a win-win. So I just really appreciate you, Rebecca, and you prioritizing ourselves. Make sure we're cared for and feeling seen and valued from within so that we can give that gift to the other person and create that win-win.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. We are getting ready to go to our next break, so it's a perfect time for us to pause.
Yes.
To check in and maybe reflect on, is there a conversation or an interaction or something that just you didn't quite know how to respond to, or it's kind of just sticking with you, or you wish you'd responded differently. Give yourself some time during this break to just write down a couple of those connections or interactions that you'd like to sink into, in a sense, go back to, and really help create a win-win, a powerful connection and approach to that piece that just feels like it didn't go quite the way that felt good, and felt valued on both sides. And we will continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you wrote down a couple things of, I'd really like to revisit this, or here's a question or a comment I get sometimes and I just don't know what to do when it happens and when that comes up, like the example with Jessica that we heard earlier today in our conversation. So what are some of those things that you're like, I'd really like to have a different response or be able to go back? I took those 24 hours, I've taken those 5 years, whatever it is that you want to go back and really have a more positive win-win type of outcome in the conversation. And with that, one of the questions we had talked about, and I wanted to have Dr. Amy just expand on a little bit, is why? Why is it important that we do this? Why does it matter? Why is it important to take the time to have these conversations from a win-win type of perspective instead of that kind of going to battle or withdrawing? Why is it important to take that time? So, Dr. Amy?
It's a good point. Why would you bother doing this? And it's back to that point, is how much chaos do you want in your life? How much hatred and revenge do you want? If you want more peace, if you want more contentment, more harmony in your home and in your organization, a more cohesive culture in your community, that would be the why, to slow down, take a breath. So in my book, one of the things that I teach is the acronym STOP, which is slow down, take 3 breaths, observe your assumption and your feelings, the feelings of the other person. And the last P is proceed with curiosity and wonder. In this stop, this is where your power lies, because this is where you bump into the compassion for you and the other person. And a compassionate space is what creates a more cohesive culture, whether it's in your home, in your community, in your organization, where people want to stick around. And then they'll show up more genuinely, and then that organization can reach an even broader market. So lots of reasons to take good care of you and take good care of the people around you, one encounter at a time.
Beautiful. I love that. It's doable. it keeps us focused on kind of a bigger reason, a bigger concept around each encounter and conversation, how that matters and adds up to what we're co-creating in our life. And most people, when I talk to them, they're not looking for more bullying, more chaos, more conflict in their life. They're looking for peace and harmony and to move things forward in positive ways. And I love that you are showing a way that we can do that one step at a time, one encounter at a time. And you mentioned your book, so I'd love to learn more about your book, because you've given us just an example of one thing that's in your book that's so powerful. And I know it's got many, many good tips and advice and guidance and steps and insights in it. So I'd love for you to share the title of your book, share a little bit about it, why you wrote the book, and when we can look forward to getting a copy. I know it's coming out.
Yes, I'm very excited. It's coming out May 14th, and it'll be available for just a mere $1.99 for the first 24 or so hours on May 14th. The book is called The Communication Connection. Confidently create a cohesive culture, one conversation at a time. And to your point, just like the story of Jessica, I use case studies, stories to illustrate the tools that are in the book so that you always have an example of how to make it happen in your life. And I'm just thinking about something you had said, when we want more harmony, more peace, more connection in our home, in our community, in our organizations. One of the things that women in our society deal with particularly is perfectionism. In fact, in larger American culture, men are supposed to be strong and women are supposed to be perfect. As if any of that is even possible, right? And so as a woman, we can get all caught up in thinking that we've got to do these conversations just right. Well, it's not going to happen. Cultural intelligence, like any other intelligence, emotional intelligence, intellectual intelligence, is something you're growing and learning. And so there's always an opportunity to drop this imposition of perfectionism and just recognize every encounter is an opportunity to practice. And if you totally bomb with your colleague or your client or your spouse or your kid, you can always ask for a do-over. It's really, so one of the things that you'll learn from my book is that in a cross-cultural conversation, your impact is just as important as your intent. Mm-hmm. And you can think, well, my intention was good. How come why did they react that way? Well, because the impact was different from your intent. And it's really intriguing, since I've been in this work now for about a decade. I'm a career-long educator, so I've been teaching. I'm 59, so I don't know, 30-something years. But this particular work for about a decade. And I asked my husband, now I'll ask him, so how did that land on you? Or what was the impact of my words? And most of the times, like 80-90% of the time, he'll go, no, that's fine. And I'll go, no, really? And he'll go, no, it's cool. We're cool. But every once in a while, he'll go, yeah, that didn't land so well. And I'll just simply say, can I have a do-over? And I've never gotten a no from a colleague or my spouse or my kids when I ask for a do-over. They give me grace.
I love it. Well, and I feel like that's a real human connection and an example that we are bringing forward in our interactions, that we don't have to be perfect. We can ask for a do-over and the grace that's extended. And I think even a stronger connection could be formed because we're connecting in a place of humanness, and that didn't work. Let me try again. And you must support and cheer the other one on.
You're bringing up an excellent point, Rebecca. You're extraordinary, because so often it's the second touch that's really meaningful. When you bomb with somebody and you go, oh, I'm sorry, I blew it. It's when you circle back the second time, I've been thinking more deeply about this, and I've been thinking about my behavior and how I could do better by you. Oh man, that second touch makes people's hearts soar. That's just a little secret. It's not in my book, but I'll just let you know.
It's a bonus. I love it.
Bonus for attending today, for listening to this radio show. Oh my gosh, that second. And now women are in the habit in our society of apologizing. So please don't apologize. So what you can do is, rather than saying, for example, I'm sorry I'm late, how about saying, thank you for waiting? The beauty about thank you for waiting, or thank you for your grace, thank you for understanding, thank you for listening a second time. By saying thank you, you're focusing on them and you're getting it off of you. And people want to feel valued and seen. And when you say thank you instead of I'm sorry, you're totally loving on them. And so that's, another bonus that just showed up when I'm talking. So often I talk in corporate spaces, and sometimes I'm just talking with the employee resource group of women. And I give them these little tips that wouldn't necessarily show up in my book. That's for everybody. So thank you for letting me tell you the secret agent stuff.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful. I was just thinking as we were sharing about this, there was a presentation I did a while back, and I remember it was going over material that I've taught a zillion times, very familiar with it. And it was a very friendly, nice group, and it was a smaller group, and I was used to speaking to all different sizes. But for some reason, I just got an attack of the nerves. And so no matter what I said or did, it just kept like spiraling down, and I was starting to shake.
Yeah.
And they're nodding, and they kept giving me more time instead of like ending. They kept stretching it out. And I remember as it just kept getting, and you're watching this play out before me, and they're really trying to understand, and I'm not making any sense. And I took a deep breath, and I said, and they all looked at me, and they were teachers, they were educators, and I said, I'm really nervous right now. Like, I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to take a moment and gather my thoughts so I can really support you here. And I just sat down in front of them. They sat down with me. We took a breath together.
Wow.
And then I was able to regroup and at least give them good information again. But it wasn't a shining moment for me. And it was in the financial field. I used to be in the financial arena. And at the end of the presentation, we brought it to a close. I connected with them in a way I never would have if I had been quote unquote perfect or as polished as normal in the way I normally cover it. In fact, they came up to me and they said, I've been teaching for 20 years and I get an attack of the nerves sometimes, no worries. I get it. I'll ask if we have questions. And then every time I would see them going forward or I was doing a presentation, they'd always go, great job. You're doing so good. And they were very invested in my success in that space. So it ended up being a gift, even though it was uncomfortable.
It's interesting. You said it wasn't a shining moment for me. And I would suggest, can I push on that?
Oh, please.
So I would suggest it's probably one of your most stellar moments because your humanity showed up. When we're showing our vulnerability, it feels like weakness from the inside, but research shows that it comes across to other people as strong. So what you did in that case was extraordinarily courageous to say, wow, I need a moment. You actually applied stop, slowed down, took a breath, observed, proceeded with curiosity. You took the time to care for you. Your humanity showed up and you broke people's hearts. That's extraordinarily courageous. You're awesome, Rebecca.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is perfectionism hides our humanity. And so that's why we can't connect with people as easily as if, you know what? Just recognizing I'm broken and I'm beautiful. I'm perfect just the way I am. Doesn't mean I'm done, but I'm broken and beautiful. And it just gives us all an opportunity to be human.
I love it. And I love it. And it built this bridge and this connection that I wouldn't have had otherwise, because I would have been in like this box of the person that does that versus a person. Yeah.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So thank you for letting me share. And, and I appreciate that shift in perspective in taking a look at that. I did want to circle back to, the C's, because I hear you use C's a lot in your title. And I know that you have 5 C's of cultural intelligence. And so I just want you to share a little bit about that. I know that that's also in your book, but I feel like it gives people a really good flavor of you, what you're about, and cultural intelligence.
Okay, so just transparency. I didn't mean to do the whole C thing. It was so funny because I had my 5 C's and they were in the copy, and I was talking with Kathy Davis about the title of my book, and the C's just kept coming up, and I'm like, Kathy, this title's on you, right? And so I love that you've noticed it. The 5 C's in the book are curiosity, contemplation, courage, context, compassion. And those words represent what it takes to express cultural intelligence. We have to be one of those people that's curious about other people. Some folks just aren't particularly curious, and that's just fine. So curiosity, and then, like you pointed out, we're going to need a contemplative moment when we're talking with somebody who has a different perspective. We may need to take a breath because we may not agree, but that doesn't mean we can't appreciate something about them. And it's going to take some courage to get more about their context, to learn their story. And it's when you hear their story that you bump into compassion for them. So those are the 5 C's that I illustrate in those case studies within my book. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love that that's just naturally comes out for you. The C's as well.
Yeah, it just happened.
and the curiosity. I love that.
I had actually just 4 of them: curiosity, contemplation, context, and compassion. Mm-hmm. And this I'm a white woman in this space, and this African American woman said to me, you're pretty courageous doing this work. And she said, why isn't that on your list? And it didn't even occur to me. I'm just so grateful for people with different perspectives because they just called to this carpet. And I was like, you're right. I'd normalized that it takes courage to be in this work. And I was so grateful to her. So that's where the 5th came from.
I love it. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah. And so the book's coming out on May 14th.
It is.
And special rate, that first 24, possibly 48, but definitely the first 24 hours.
Yeah, gotta grab it.
Yep. You want to make sure you don't miss out. So put it on the calendar on May 14th, an opportunity to add this beautiful, powerful book to really support you in cultural intelligence and in communication. And so beautifully, as Dr. Amy has exhibited and shown us today. So you have an opportunity. We're going to be helping share that out. But when we come back, we're going to have Dr. Amy share how you can connect with her, how you can get on her list. So you'll be notified. There's a special link to be able to get that amazing rate when it comes out. So enjoy these 2 minutes. Take a moment and just write down some of your thoughts from what has been shared, and we'll continue our conversation in 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you wrote down some great notes. I know I did throughout our time together. And perhaps as you're looking back on how maybe you've even defined a shining moment, you might have a slightly different perspective on how you see that, or something that you want to start to bring into your life, that process of stopping and pausing. Really great tips and tools and bonuses you've gotten from Dr. Amy today. So I hope that you have written some of those down so that you can keep bringing them forward. And a reminder, her book's coming out on May 14th. So if you didn't capture all of the notes there, you can definitely go into her beautiful wisdom, content, tips, and information. You'll find so much of that in her powerful book. I think it's an important book to add to our libraries to really support us in those positive connections, one encounter at a time, as Dr. Amy says. So, Dr. Amy, I'd love for you to share the full title of your book again so everybody has it. Coming out on May 14th.
You're going to hear a few of those C's again.
I love it.
The communication connection. Confidently create a cohesive culture, one conversation at a time. And you can get an exclusive VIP notices if you join my list, and which is, you can sign up, I'm stumbling all over myself, on my website. My website is quite simply EmpoweringPartners.com. That's empowering partners, 2 words, but it's all together. .com. And it's actually a banner right now because Rebecca told me to put a banner at the top of my website to sign up, and you'll be emailed probably 2 more times just to be aware that the special rate is coming.
Perfect. Well, I love that. We want to make it really easy for people to sign up so everybody gets to stay connected and have those opportunities to lean in. I always love knowing about special releases and being able to take advantage of a great deal and opportunity. And I can lean in and get a copy for myself and share it out or get it for others. So thank you for making that easy to find, available. And I know it's going to enrich so many of our conversations and really create more heart-centered, powerful connections where we're seen and valued and heard, and we're sharing that experience with others as well. So thank you for the work that you do. I appreciate you taking time today, as I know prior to the book coming out, it's a super busy time. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To your point, this is something that we can share with others. Cultural intelligence can't be developed without other people, because it's about interactions and encounters and interchanges, conversations. So you need other people to grow and learn with. This is a great book to do a book club or a book study with the people in your office, the people in your community, so that you can play with the skills and tools together. And it isn't just you working alone and trying stuff out and maybe getting some pushback. You can say, oh, it's in the book, and you all play together and learn together. It's just so much fun to be learning and empowering one another together and developing this sweet, cohesive community.
I love it. And I'm kind of thinking I like extra credit personally, gold stars. I enjoy those things.
Yes.
So an extra credit opportunity is doing that together, but looking to reach outside of your maybe current, normal, natural connections, that we can start to stretch and expand who we're talking to, how we're talking, and learn and have that reflected back. I'd like to add that, if you're okay with that, Dr. Amy, as an extra credit bonus.
That's huge. It's this book, the skills, the tools that I give you, the skills that I'm teaching actually help you navigate conversations within your home, within your organization, but also domestically and internationally. Mm-hmm. There's no reason you can't be engaging effectively with people from very different cultures. Slow down, take a breath, learn their story within their context. This applies around the world, and it's so much fun to grow your circle of influence and grow your circle of connection. It's just so satisfying.
I love it. Beautiful, beautiful. I was just thinking, one of the activities I did in school, and I really struggled with connecting with people. I really loved people, but I didn't know how to connect with them always. And it felt awkward much of the time. And I decided one day that I wanted to shift that. I really wanted to connect with people. And so I would look around the lunchroom and where people would gather or study and that sort of thing. And I'd go to a table of people that looked friendly. That's where I would start. And I would just start to sit down and say, can I join you? And I'd start to sit down. I didn't wait for permission. I just started. And I would say, can I join you? I'm really working on my communication skills and I wanted to talk to you a little bit. And I'd sit down.
It's a great entry point. You're admitting your humanity right then. I'm working on my communication skills.
And they would look at me and a little bit not quite sure what to do, and then waiting, am I selling something? And I had really stated my mission. And we started to talk and build rapport and connections, and I learned so much from them and about communication. And eventually I started to look for the tables that looked a little cranky or they looked a little intimidating. And I would use the same approach. And I started to meet so many amazing people. My world expanded. I got better at communication and I got to learn and grow. And I'm so grateful for that. And I wish I had had a book like this in that process. It would have been
applies to your networking. And one of the things, because I'm gregarious, but I'm an introvert. And so I remember at one networking session, I thought I'm just going to own my humanity. And I walked up to a group and they gave me eye contact, which suggested I was allowed to join in. And there's a quiet moment. And I said, I'm a gregarious introvert, so these networking sessions are really tough for me. How does they land on you? And everyone their jaw dropped because I was owning my humanity. And then there was like, I am too. It's hard for you. And I'm like, yes, but you're so gregarious. And I'm like, but it's really hard for me. And we moaned together and it just leveled the playing field. And we all started just sharing our stories. I love it, Rebecca. You did what I do. I just keep trying to reach out and grow my cultural intelligence.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So we get to take those steps together. Yes. And so beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, Dr. Amy, for joining us today. I appreciate it. Listeners, I want to thank you for joining in. And I really encourage you as you get ready to go back out into the day to think about some of the things that we have shared. What are some of the things you can start to apply in your life? And I really love this, remembering to stop and pause and applying those next steps that Dr. Amy talked about. As you get ready to go back out into your day, I always like to remind you the day doesn't get to be in charge. You do.
Wonderful.
Take a moment, pause, and really choose how you're going to step forward. And one of the biggest gifts that you can give the world is more of you. So be willing to share who you truly, authentically are and share that out, shine that out. Be willing to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Greiter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.